Hello, Taurus. My name is Paul, and this is Dove and Serpent Tarot. And this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask that you connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And if there is anything you need me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Okay? And remember, Taurus, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. Bang. Wheel of Fortune. Right off the bat. Very, very nice. This is very good. That is real prosperity. Right? This is divine timing. This is the cosmic wristwatch. This is Spirit's timepiece here. It's time for you to shine. I think it's time for you to really get your moment in the spotlight, so to speak, right? Let's put this into some context, okay? I think you might be reaching a level of success that kind of sets you apart from people, right? And that's always kind of, there's always a sticky situation involved there, right? Because whenever you're on top, someone or something else is going to be at the bottom of the wheel, right? Let's keep going. We've got the Magician, we've got some fire and some water. Oh, a lot of major arcana. Man. Okay, all right. We've got some more fire, we've got some water. We've got, like, there's kind of mixed feelings here. I feel like maybe we are achieving a level of success, but we're dealing with that fact that some of our compatriots, some of our friends or family or just others, like kind of aren't coming with us, right? It's almost like, the guilt of success kind of thing. Let's select a mystery card real quick. This is one card randomly from the Smith-Waite Tarot. We'll put right here, we'll put Mr. Tao, the yin-yang duck, right there on top. Now, Taurus, we are not going to look at that card until the very end, okay? We're going to see if we can tie everything together and give us the confirmation that we need, yeah? But we are doing something a little different. If at any point during the reading you get an idea, a sense, a feeling, an inkling, a little tickle about what that card is, I want you to type it out in the comment section, okay? Trying to be more interactive here, trying to get some audience participation, trying to collectively raise our vibrations. Let's tap into spirit. Let's tap into our intuition. Let's start discerning that mystery card together. I think it's a good exercise. And I think over time we'll find that we get more and more accurate with our mystery card, okay? But first, we've got a lot to do in this reading. Major, 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 major. Fire, fire, fire. Water, water, air. We've got no earth. We're not really thinking about the earth. The earth, I think what's going on around you, what's going on in your life is Wheel of Fortune, is success. You're experiencing your time on the top of the wheel. However that is manifesting for you, well, we're just going to have to find out as the days go forward, as time moves on. Maybe in our next reading, we'll see a little bit about that. But right now, that's not what it's about. Right? Right now, I think it's about how you're dealing with the success that's going to be coming in and kind of the mixed feelings that we are going to have with this. Okay? So first, let's talk a little bit about the Wheel of Fortune. This is the Jupiter energy. This is very, very expansive. It's very generous. This is very much kind of the universe saying, you've been working very hard. Here's your reward, right? Things that you've been doing are going to start paying off. You're going to start seeing some success that you've been working toward, right? Especially with this Magician energy. You haven't just been slacking off, waiting for the universe to dump a pot of gold in your lap. You've been concentrating your efforts. You've been learning new skills. You've been refining yourself. You've been failing and succeeding and failing and succeeding, experimenting. You've been working very, very hard, right? So you've earned this. You deserve this. And it's coming into your life. It's going to lead to some really amazing things in the future for you. But there's a bit of a challenge here, especially with these two cards down beneath the surface. Now, this is a reading. This is going to have a lot of components to it. Okay. First thing that we have to do is consult the I Ching. Anytime we get the Fool, the Magus, the Hierophant, or the Hermit, we have to do an I Ching card. Well, here's the Magus. Let's do our I Ching reading. And let's get this message on the table, right? So we can consider it as we move forward. What is it that the Magus, the Magician, who is associated with wisdom, right? What is the message from that energy, from that archetype? 18, corruption. Corruption. Taking something that is, in theory, absolutely amazing, and there's the entrance of that kind of foreign body, of that corrupting influence or energy that kind of brings the whole thing down, right? It's rotting the apple from the inside out, right? Corruption. 18, corruption. Creating success from the source. Fruitful to cross the great river. Before the seed day, 3 days. After the seed day, 3 days. Okay. So if it's kind of, for in between the before and the after, this is that moment, right? This is that moment in between. Corruption, something dark under the surface of life, manifesting as patterns of negative experience. This comes from our past, our parents, or our culture. It's time to examine those old patterns, to understand where they come from before you can tend to the growing seed of change in your life. What is behind this trouble? What is the hidden cause? Okay? So, the Magician, the wisdom here is all about the corrupting influence, right? And this is confirming for me internally what I started to see in this reading already, which is that you have been creating this success, right? But there is still this negative energy that is kind of ruining the experience, or has the potential to hold you back, or is trying to kind of grab you as you're ascending, is grabbing at your heels, grabbing at your shoes, trying to pull you down like off that ladder, you know? And the way that I'm kind of experiencing this, you know, especially with this the 3 of Wands over here, but with this 5 of Cups too. And this is what's beneath the surface. So let me just refer back to the hexagram. It says, something dark under the surface of life, manifesting as patterns of negative experience. I think that this really is you having mixed feelings about your success, and maybe because of maybe because of what we're leaving behind, right? And to me, this is kind of like our old group of friends, our old lifestyle, our old patterns, right? That are threatening to kind of to corrupt the experience that we're having now. This is almost feeling disappointed that we're experiencing this growing success, right? That we start to feel guilty for being successful, right? Because of who we're leaving behind. Because of our past, because of our friends, our family, or whatever, that aren't coming with us, right? And we want them to. We see a 3 of Wands here in the environment. So this is kind of the problem. This is the mixed feelings here, right? We're feeling almost guilty, almost disappointed. But at the same time, we know that we are fulfilling our will, our destiny, that we've worked hard for this, that we have earned this, that it is through our commitment, our decisions, our virtue, our strength, our creativity. We have a lot of fire energy here. It is through our efforts that we're succeeding. but there is this negative influence that's pulling us down. And this, I mean, it might be one particular person. It might just be kind of, it might be our own mind or heart that is kind of doing this to us. And I kind of see with the Three of Wands that maybe we're trying to maintain these friendships, these associations. Even as we are expanding and growing and becoming more and more successful, we just don't have time or energy or the will to keep doing the same things we've been doing. Right? I mean, how do we explain this? How do we think about this? How do we feel this? We don't really, right? Because we don't have a lot of air energy. We experience it mostly as fire. It's kind of a frustration. Thinking about it just kind of ties us up in knots because we feel a certain way. And the best we can hope for is a Four of Cups at the end of just kind of accepting it, just feeling relatively stable about it so that we can move forward, right? So I think our evolution here may be pulling us away from where we originated from. Friends, family, where we grew up, our old patterns. What it says in the I Ching card, it says our past, our parents, our culture, right? So what do? Well, if we try to stay where we are, and if we try to not let success change us or where we are, what we're doing, we're trying to force ourselves to stay, let's say, here on this level. Okay. But there is still this major arcana energy that is bringing us forward into the future, that is creating these opportunities and this growth and this evolution. It's happening. We can't stop it. So the more we try to force ourselves to stay in this box that we're in, the more uncomfortable we'll feel. That's why we've got a 5 and an 8 down here. And I think the more we're going to experience difficulty in this kind of daily life, right? It's think about somebody who becomes like rich and famous. They can't really stay in the old neighborhood anymore, right? They may eventually have to move. And that's frowned upon, I think, a lot of time. Like, selling out or abandoning their roots, forgetting their roots, right? But if we try to force ourselves to stay, despite this growth and evolution, and I'm not just talking financially either, just spiritually. You're growing and evolving spiritually. I think there is a financial component here somewhere, but we're not even talking about that. There's no earth energy here. This is about the growth and evolution of you, all aspects of your being, physical, mental, emotional, creative, spiritual, that is being fostered and furthered by your own efforts and the divine influence and the spiritual energy. You're growing and evolving, but yet there's part of you that feels guilty and kind of wants to stay where you were. It's like you're growing and getting older, but we're still trying to stay a kid. As an analogy. I'm not saying that you're being childish or anything. Just as an analogy. We're trying to stay in one place, but we can't help but go through this growing process, right? Forcing ourselves to stay behind or stay in the earlier version of that energy is going to cause disruption in our lives. Trying to just not do it, or trying to still kind of stay in the old way, even though we're growing into this new thing, it's just going to cause conflict. It's going to cause us to feel all mixed up about it, to think all mixed up about it. Right? And then we're going to start making mistakes. It's going to put a strain on our relationships because we're fighting the flow. We're trying to swim against the current. The current's taking us away. You're growing and evolving. And yes, there may be other forces in your life, in the world, that want to keep you here in this small town, but you've outgrown it, right? You've outgrown this rather restricted life, and we can't force ourselves to stay there. It's going to be too uncomfortable in many different ways. We see the Two of Wands back here. This is telling me that it was your efforts. Again, this is Mars and Aries. This is you taking the lead, taking control. You've done this. You've worked hard, and you've earned this achievement. Okay? Very, very simple. You made the choice. You committed yourself to it. You did the hard work. And you're going to be getting this success from it. Now, up above everything, the eon, judgment, rebirth, reawakening, baptism by fire. This is the divine doorway. But it's a baptism by fire. It is a difficult, growing experience. It's a growing pain. The pain of leaving that previous state behind. It's like when we have these rites of passage. When you grow into adulthood, you leave some childhood things behind. When you get a good job and you start becoming, successful in whatever way you've aspired to, there are going to be those elements in your previous life that kind of want to throw some guilt or throw some shade on you for leaving them behind, right? It's a rite of passage, and it's a difficult one. It's one of fire, right? And because we have this doorway, we have to do one of these. These are called divine doorways. These are just some oracle cards or affirmation cards or whatever you want to call them. And we use these whenever we get an Eon card or the Moon card, right? Because both are talking about doorways. One is kind of a baptism by water. Maybe we'll do one when we get the Hanged Man too, because that's kind of a baptism card too. It's kind of a doorway with the Hanged Man. But the Eon and the Moon are literally the doors. They're thresholds, transitional periods, rites of passage. So the doorway now for the Eon is the sacred lotus, compassion in action. The chosen tool, I see now the lotus in your spirit's jewel. Compassion in action with that Eon card. So this is interesting. We can show compassion, but it doesn't mean that we have to show pity. It doesn't mean that we have to then bring ourselves down to that level. You know what I mean? That's not what compassion is. Compassion isn't, commiserating. It is not about denying ourselves entrance through the next level, because this Eon, this is the next level for you. This is a rite of passage for you. This is a big deal in your life. These other elements that are at work, we cannot let them prevent us from going through this door. We can't stop time. We can't stop the cosmic wristwatch here with the fortune card. But we can show compassion. And again, the compassion does not mean that we deny ourselves and we suffer the same as everybody else. It's not like, because we see people suffering, that we then have to strip away everything about ourselves and go suffer with them in the same way. That doesn't really help anyone. By showing compassion, we're trying to perhaps alleviate some of the suffering of others, right? We're trying to maybe bond with people on a level that goes beyond or behind that surface, Compassion in action, the chosen tool. I see now the lotus in your spirit's jewel. So perhaps this rite of passage for you is going to foster this kind of compassion in you. right? And it's interesting that we have the sacred lotus with this whole compassion, and then in the future we have passion, right? We've got this creative lust or strength card, and this is in the future, more spiritual energy for you. And this is you taking pride and taking ownership in the success that you're creating. And yes, you've worked hard and you've made the decisions and you probably sacrificed a lot to create this success in your life. A lot of it is divine timing. A lot of it is kind of destiny and whatever, luck, coincidence. It's the blessings, the miracles, the divine energy at work too. But you're not denying your own efforts here. Things have come together in such a magical, aligned way for you to create your future. And this is in your future. Now, how does our compassion grow out of this? Are we becoming egotistical, isolated, elitist? Or are we embracing our success and our evolution, our changes, but still maintaining almost a humility, a humbleness, staying connected with where we came from, not letting these things drag us down or prevent us from growing and evolving and expanding? And again, this doesn't have to be financial, right? Maybe you're not going to be the next like big celebrity, but in your spiritual growth and evolution, which it is time for you now to take this next rite of passage, this next doorway. We cannot let these negative forces hold us back or prevent us from embracing our destiny. But we have to make sure that we use this as an opportunity to give back more, maybe volunteer some time, maybe start charities, give to charities, start a foundation. In some way, stay connected with where you came from, with your roots, with other people in your life. I started out this reading thinking that this had to do with friends. That you're making big moves, you're growing and evolving, but your friends are not. They're kind of staying behind. And if you try to limit yourself and stay behind with them, that's not going to work. There's going to be too much friction, too much conflict there. Okay? So we're moving to the path of the serpent now. We see this Eight of Swords. Now with the Eight of Swords, anytime we get an Eight of Swords, I told you there's going to be a lot going on today. We're going to do the botanical inspirations. These are more oracle cards or affirmation cards. Because I feel like with this Eight of Swords, we're kind of overthinking, right? We're trying to sort it out. We're trying to, we're worrying too much, right? Rather than just doing it and following our spirit, following our hearts and our minds and our destiny. We're spending a lot of time thinking and feeling in these very kind of unharmonious ways. Well, there's the one. And this is the coreopsis, the tick seed. Always joyful. Write it on your heart that every day is the best day of the year. So this is a card to me now, especially that it's in between our negative thinking, negative feeling. It's kind of saying, look, yeah, it's a mixed blessing, right? There are some mixed emotions and thoughts about the success that you're achieving, the growth that you're experiencing. Yes, there's a negative aspect. You're leaving people behind, your friends, your family, whatever. They're not growing and evolving with you. You're leveling up. They're staying the same. That's unfortunate. We need to have compassion. But you also have to experience this fully. It's okay for you to be joyful about it, right? It's okay for you to have a little bit of this tick seed energy. And yeah, write it in your heart that today is the best day of the year. And we can have compassion that maybe your friends or family members, they're not experiencing the best day of the year right now. Right? And we have to recognize that. We have to be able to empathize with people and to care about other people. At the same time, you deserve to celebrate and to feel the joy about what you're achieving, the growth and the evolution that you are attaining. Okay? So that's for the Eight of Swords. Then, of course, we've got more fire energy. This is pretty straightforward. The Three of Wands here is this is you in the environment. This is the timing. This is your relationship with the environment. And the Three of Wands says, it's time for you to do the right thing. Your thinking, your feeling, and your doing are all on the same page. Your heart and your mind and your body need to be unified so that you can take full advantage of this major arcana spiritual energy, this growth, success, this expansion that you're going to be experiencing, this rite of passage. You have to be fully committed to it. Okay? And what we see down below with the Five of Cups and the Eight of Swords, this is your heart and your mind that are not ready to move forward. These are still being kind of stuck down here. Right? We need the unity of heart and mind if we're going to then actually move forward with this in the physical realm. Okay? So we need to resolve how we feel and how we think so that we can do the right thing and take advantage of this opportunity. You deserve to grow and evolve and achieve. Right? Next card is the Five of Wands. This is the card that we don't want. This is the obstacle. This is kind of the impulse that if we cannot resolve our thinking and feeling, the frustration will grow to such an extreme degree that we will just want to smash it. We kind of just want to smash that Wheel of Fortune. Well, we don't want to. Okay? But it's the growing frustration if we cannot resolve our thinking and feeling, our heart and mind, our air and water. Okay? This stuff right here. Okay? So this is the obstacle, and I think we need to restrain this impulse to do something rash, to do something that we'll regret, to sabotage ourselves in such a way that we burn the bridge so that we have to stay back with it with everybody else. Right? We don't want to do that. We want to avoid that Five of Wands. The very next card, final card, is the Four of Cups. This is us basically being settled. This is us just kind of moving forward. We're doing what we have to do. And we feel it. We feel still kind of conflicted probably. We've made the right decisions. We can still feel conflicted and still feel bad and still feel that little tinge of guilt. We're moving forward though, right? We've resolved the issue, and the Four of Swords is the patron card for this energetic cycle of readings on this channel, which is just starting. So we have this idea of settling our mind, and then the Four of Cups settling our heart, right? Doesn't mean that we've come to any kind of a resolution about it. It's just that it is what it is, right? And that's kind of one of my least favorite phrases in life, it is what it is. But the other thing that I can say is, hey, that's Dallas, right? We may not really come to a solid agreement or a decision or there's no way to resolve this. We just have to accept that this is how I feel and this is how I think. There's mixed feelings here. There's mixed thoughts. But it's not a 5 and an 8. It's not this kind of turmoil that is preventing us from doing the right thing and moving forward with our growth, our evolution, with our success. So the most we can really hope for is this 4. To just accept it and do the right thing. And remember that sacred lotus. Remember that compassion. We'll find ways to give back, to reconnect. But we're not going to limit ourselves. We're not going to deny this opportunity just because we feel a little bit of guilt because We can't take everybody with us, you know? It's a difficult situation. But now we have to do the mystery card. And this is the point of the reading where we say thank you to Mr. Tao, the yin-yang deck. And I want to see if we can all discern this card. So if you want to pause the reading, go ahead and pause it. We'll have a moment of stillness. Let's raise our vibrations. Let's collectively tap into spirit, into source. What do we think this is going to be? Well, I kind of feel it's going to be some earth energy. Yeah. I feel like we're going to see maybe a 6 of Pentacles, maybe a 9 or a 10 of Pentacles. I'm thinking earth energy anyway. Let's see. Nope. It's the Hanged Man, but interestingly, it's the Hanged Man reversed, right? So this is actually really, really cool. And I think we'll do another Divine Doorway because it's a Hanged Man. It's kind of a transitional period, kind of another baptism deal. The Hanged Man usually is like this, right? And this is kind of us, this might be us sacrificing our success, right? So it's not to, I don't know, not to hurt others or something. Like, this is us feeling like we have to sacrifice our future, our success, our evolution for whatever reason, right? But this card came out this way, right? So I feel like we're maintaining this compassion. We have this idea of acceptance, but we're not sacrificing ourselves, you know? And you can do both. You can be loving and compassionate and empathic and connected and caring and still grow and evolve and succeed in your life, still achieve your goals, right? It doesn't mean that you have to sacrifice your entire future for whatever reason. I don't even want to speculate, really. So I'm happy that we got the Hanged Man. I'm happy that it's in reverse. Even if it came out kind of right side up, I'd say, yeah, we're kind of accepting that this is an impossible situation, right? You have no choice but to accept that what you're doing is kind of leaving some people behind, that you are outgrowing other people in your life. But hey, that's Dallas, right? Let's do the divine door, since it is a Hanged Man card. Inner power. By your own command, you brought yourself here. At this moment in life, you have nothing to fear. See, you did this. You made these choices, these decisions. You've created this success in your life. By your own command. It's inner power, right? That's that 2 of Wands that we kind of briefly talked about. You made the decisions. It's your own will, your own decisions. And now you don't have to undo all of that just because there are forces, maybe people, energies, entities, spirits in your life that are kind of that haven't made the same decisions you made, right? It's a very deep reading, very intense. We're going to do an extended reading. If you want to stick around, click either above or below in the video description. New readings for Taurus every Monday and Friday at 6 a.m. Chicago time. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next one. I want to thank you for watching this video all the way through until the end. That really helps out the reach of these videos, and I really appreciate that. I want you to remember, Taurus, that you are the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you, and I love you, and we are all in this together.